Hello guys and welcome. My name is Iwoma Judith and today I'll be showing you how to draft a basic bodice pattern. So I'll be showing you how to draft both the front and the back bodice. So if this is something you're interested in and you would love to know how to do it, then let's get right into the video. So on my pattern paper, I'm going to go ahead and draw a straight line on the top of my pattern paper like this. This is going to be my starting point, okay? So we'll be taking our measurement from that starting point. After that, the next measurement I'll be taking is my shoulder to bust point. So from the starting line, I'm going to go down to my bust point, which is 10.25. And I'll go ahead and mark across my pattern paper like this. And with my ruler, I'm going to go ahead and draw a straight line connecting the marks together. So this is going to be my bust point, all right? So now the next measurement I'll be taking is my shoulder to under bust point. So from my starting line, I'm going to go down to my under bust point, which is 13.75. And I'm going to go ahead and mark across my pattern paper like this, and with my ruler I'm going to go ahead and connect the marks together, drawing a straight line. So this line is going to be called our under bust point. So now the next measurement I'll be taking is my shoulder to waist in front. So make sure you take your measurement from your shoulder to waist in front like this, and my shoulder to waist in front is 18 inches. So I'll go ahead and mark down to 18 inches across my pattern paper like this, and with my ruler I'm going to go ahead and draw a straight line. So this is going to be called my waistline. So now the next measurement I'll be taking is my full length measurement. So the full length measurement I'm working with is 28 inches. So from my starting line, I'm going to go ahead and mark 28 inches, and I'm going to do that across my pattern paper like this, and with my ruler I'm going to go ahead and connect the marks together. So this is going to be called my full length. You can use any length of your choice. So I'm going to go ahead and label the line so that will not get confused. So this is my starting point, this is my bust point, this is my under bust point, this is my waistline point, and also this is my full length, okay? So now on my starting line, from that center front, I'm going to be going in by 4 inches and mark. That is going to be the width of my neckline, okay? So I'll go in by 4 inches. Then from that starting point again, I'm going to still go down by 4 inches. And I'll mark, that is going to be the depth of my neckline for the front piece. And I'm going to go ahead now and connect the two marks together like this, creating my neckline curve for my front piece like this. So you can make use of your curve rule if you have, but if you don't have, you can go ahead and use your free hand like this, okay? So after that, on the starting line, we are going to go ahead and take our shoulder measurement divided by 2. So my shoulder measurement is 16 inches, divided by 2 is 8 inches. So I went ahead and mark at 8 inches, okay? So on that 8 inches mark, I'm going to go down by 1 inches, and I'll mark. So now on that 1 inches that we went down by, I'm going to go ahead and connect it to the neckline, creating a shoulder slope, okay? That's because our shoulder is not straight, but our shoulder is slightly slanted, okay? So on that 1 inches mark that we went down by, I'm going to go ahead and mark my armhole length, which is 8 inches. So to get your armhole length, you're going to go ahead and measure your bust round divided by 6, and whatever you get, you add 1.5 inches to it, okay? So on that 8 inches mark, I'm going to take my tape and measure from the starting line down to that mark there, and as you can see, it's 9 inches. So I'll use my tape and measure out 9 inches across my pattern paper like this, and with my ruler I'm going to go ahead and draw a straight line. So this line is going to be called our chest line. So now I'm going to go ahead and connect that 1 inches that we went down by to my chest line, drawing a straight line like this. So I'll go ahead and label this line the chest line so that we'll not get confused. So now the next thing we are going to do is from that bust point line, we are going to take our nipple to nipple measurement divided by 2. So my nipple to nipple measurement is 7 inches, divided by 2 is 3.5 inches. So I went ahead and marked 3.5 inches across my bust line, my under bust line, my waistline, and my full length line, okay? And with my ruler, I'm going to go ahead now and draw a straight line connecting the marks together. Okay, now, so the next thing I'm going to do is on that nipple to nipple line, I'm going to go down from my bust line by 1/2 inch. and I'm going to go ahead and mark. And on my full length line, I'm going to go up by 3 inches and mark on my nipple to nipple line. Okay, so this is going to be where our dart is going to begin and end. All right, so now on the waistline, I'm going to be going in on both sides of this line by 0.75 inches. So if you're on a plus size level, you can also go in by 1 inch on both sides of our line. And with my ruler, I'm going to go ahead and connect the marks together, creating our darts. So from that 1/2 inch we went down by on the bust line, we'll go ahead and connect it to the waistline. That's 0.5 inches we gave on the waistline, and we're going to go ahead and connect it down to that 3 inches that we went up on the full length line. Okay, so I'll go ahead and do it on the both side like this, and like this we have created our darts. So after that, the next thing I'm going to do is to measure out the length between my waistline to the full length of my bodice. So mine is about 10 inches, as you can see. So I'll be using that to draft out the back piece, okay? So now the next thing we are going to do is to go ahead and impute our body measurement. So on the chest line, we are going to take our bust round measurement divided by 4. So my bust round is 38 inches divided by 4 is 9.5 inches. So I'll go ahead and mark at 9.5 inches, okay? So the next measurement I'll be taking is on my under bust line. So on my under bust line, I'm going to measure my under bust round divided by 4. So my under bust is 32.5 inches divided by 4 is about 8.125. So I went ahead and marked. And I also replaced my dart, which is about 0.7 inches in total, and I went ahead and marked. So now the next measurement I'll be taking is on my waistline. So on my waistline, I went ahead and divide my waist round divided by 4. So my waist round is 33 inches divided by 4 is 8.25. So I went ahead and mark at 8.25. So I went ahead to replace the dart that I took, which is 1.5 inches in total. So I went ahead to replace that 1.5 inches. Okay, so now on the full length line, I went ahead to take my hip round divided by 4. So my hip round is 44 inches divided by 4 is 11 inches. So I went ahead and mark at that 11 inches. So now the next thing we are going to go ahead and do is to connect the marks together, creating our curve. Okay, so I went ahead and connect the mark at my chest line to my under bust to my waistline and down to my full length line. Okay, so if you have a curve rule, then this is going to be more easier. If you're using your free hand, please take your time in doing it. Okay, so I'm going to go ahead now with my marker and blend in my lines. So now the next measurement we'll be taking is on that our armhole length line. I'm going to go ahead and mark the middle of it. So remember that our armhole length is at 8 inches. So the middle of 8 inches is 4 inches. So I marked at 4 inches. So on that 4 inches mark, I went in by 1/2 inch. So I'm going to go ahead now and connect the starting of my armhole length to that 1/2 inch that I went in by, then to the mark at the chest line, creating our armhole curve. Okay, so I'll go ahead and do that. So after that, the next thing we are going to do is to measure out the difference between our shoulder to waist in front from the shoulder to waist at the back. So my shoulder to waist in front is 18 inches minus my shoulder to the waist at the back, which is 16 inches. So mine is 2 inches difference. So from the side of my bodice, from the bust point line, I'm going to go down by 2 inches and mark at the side of my bodice like this, and I'm going to go ahead and connect that mark to my nipple to nipple line on my bust point. So with my ruler, I'm going to go ahead now and connect the marks together, creating a slanted line. And with that, we are finished drafting out the front pattern of our bodice. And now with my scissors, I'm going to go ahead and cut out our pattern. So go ahead and do the same for yours, okay? And with that, we are done with the front piece. So I'm going to go ahead now and label this my front pattern, okay? So I'll go ahead and keep that aside to cut our back pattern, okay? So I went ahead and I'm making use of the other side of my pattern paper, since it's going to be enough to draft out the back pattern. So on my starting paper like this, I'm going to go ahead and draw a straight line and this is going to be my starting line. Okay, so now the next measurement I'll be taking is my shoulder to bust point. So my shoulder to bust point is 10.25. So from my starting line, I measured down to 10.25, and I went ahead and mark across my paper like this, and with my ruler I went ahead to draw a straight line connecting the marks together. Okay, so now the next measurement now will also be taking is my shoulder to waist at the back measurement. Okay, so remember that this our back piece is not going to have an under bust measurement. Okay, so my shoulder to waist at the back is 16 inches. So I'll go ahead from the starting line and measure down to 16 inches across my pattern paper like this, and with my ruler I'm going to go ahead and draw a straight line connecting the marks together. So now the next measurement we'll be taking is the length from our waistline down to the full length line. So remember, we measured 10 inches on the front pattern. So I'll go ahead and mark 10 inches across my paper like this, and with my ruler I'm going to go ahead and draw a straight line connecting the marks together. So the reason why we are not going to be taking our full length line from the starting point is because the front piece is definitely going to be longer than the back piece, but we are going to use the dart that we gave at the armhole of our front bodice to reduce it back to the actual length. So after removing the side dart at the front piece, it's going to be the same length with the back piece. Okay, so I went ahead to label out the lines. This is the starting point, this is the bust line, this is the waistline, and this is the full length. Okay, so now the next measurement now we are going to be taking is from the center front of this pattern paper. We are going to be going in from the starting line by 2 inches, and we are going to go ahead and mark 2 inches straight down to the full length, and we are going to go ahead now and connect the marks together with our ruler, creating a straight line. So this is going to be our zipper line. Okay, so I went ahead and labeled it the zipper line. Okay, so all measurements now we are going to be taking is going to be from that line. Okay, so now on my starting point I'm going to be going in by 4 inches from my zipper line, and I'll go ahead and mark that will be my neckline width, and from the starting point I'm going to go down by 1.5 inches. That is going to be the depth of my neckline for my back piece. Okay, so I'll go ahead now and connect the marks together, creating our neckline curve. So that 1.5 inches that I marked down, I'm going to go ahead and extend that line straight to my zipper line space. So now the next measurement we'll be taking is my shoulder measurement divided by 2. So on that starting line we are going to start from the zipper line and mark at 8 inches, which is my shoulder measurement divided by 2. So on that 8 inches mark I went down by 1 inches and created a mark. So on that 1 inches mark I went ahead to connect it to my neckline like this, creating my shoulder slope. So after that, the next measurement we'll be taking is on that 1 inches that we went down by, you mark your armhole length measurement. So mine is 8 inches and I went ahead and marked. So I measured from my starting point down to that 8 inches mark, and I got 9 inches in total. So I went ahead and marked 9 inches across my paper like this, and with my ruler I'm going to go ahead and connect the marks together, creating a straight line. Okay, so this is going to be our chest line. So I'll go ahead and connect my chest line to my shoulder slope, drawing a straight line like this. Okay, so I'll go ahead and label down my chest line so that I will not get confused. Okay, so now the next thing we are going to do is to go ahead and take our dart measurement. So for the back piece, our dart is going to start from the chest line. So we'll go ahead and take our nipple to nipple measurement divided by 2. Mine is 3.5 inches when you divide it by 2. So I'll go ahead and mark it across my chest line, my bust line, my waistline, and my full length. Remember, my measurement is starting from the zipper line. So I'm going to go ahead now and connect the marks together with my ruler, drawing a straight line. So after that, the next thing I'm going to do is on the full length line, I'm going to come up by 3 inches and create a mark. So after that, now on the waistline, I'm going to be going in on both sides of my nipple to nipple line by 0.75 inches. So I'll go ahead and mark that on the both sides of my line. So like I said, if you're on a bigger side, you can go ahead and mark 1 inches on both sides. Okay, so after that, now I'm going to go ahead and connect my chest line to that 0.5 inches mark that I gave at the waistline, and I'll go ahead and connect it to that 3 inches that I went up by on the full length line. Okay, so I'm going to go ahead and do that on the both side like this, creating my dart for the back piece. Very simple. So now after that, we are going to go ahead and impute our body measurement. So on the chest line, I'm going to go ahead and take my bust round measurement divided by 4 and mark. So my bust round is 38 inches divided by 4 is 9.5 inches, and I went ahead and mark. So now the next measurement we'll be taking is on the waistline. So I'm going to go ahead and take my waist round measurement divided by 4. My waist round is 33 inches divided by 4 is 8.25, and I went ahead and mark. And I went ahead to replace that's my dart of 1.5 inches, and I went ahead and mark. So now the next measurement we'll be taking is on our full length line. So my full length line, I went ahead and measured my hip round divided by 4, which is 44 inches divided by 4 is 11 inches, and I went ahead and mark. So notice how I took all my body measurement from the zipper line and go ahead and do the same for yours. So I'm going to go ahead now and connect the marks together, creating the shape of my bodice. Okay, so if you have your curve ruler, go ahead and make use of it. I don't have it, so I'm going to use my free hand to create my curve. Okay, so now that we are done, on the armhole length, I'm going to go ahead and create a curve. So I'll go ahead and measure out the middle of my armhole length, which is 4 inches, and I mark, and I'm going to go ahead from that mark and create a curve meeting our chest line mark. So go ahead and create a curve like this. Okay, so there's no need for us to go in by half an inch the way we did on the front piece. Okay, so now that I'm done, the next thing I'm going to do is to go ahead on the zipper line to eliminate any zipper bulge. So from the waistline, I'm going to be going in by 0.75. So as you can see from that center front, I went in by 0.75. You can also decide to go in by half an inch. Okay, so from that 0.75 inches that I marked on my waistline, I'm going to go ahead and connect it to my neckline, creating a slanted line. All right, and I'm going to go ahead now and still connect that 0.5 inches that I marked on the waistline down to my full length line. Okay, creating a slanted line like this. So go ahead and do this, and with that we have eliminated any zipper bulge. So here I just decided to outline my dart properly, nothing special. Okay, so I'm going to go ahead and just properly draw it well. And with that, we have finished drafting out our back bodice pattern. Okay, so with my scissors now, I'm going to go ahead and cut out my pattern. Okay, so go ahead and do the same for yours. And with that, we have finished drafting out our back piece. Very simple. So I'm going to go ahead now and label this my back pattern. Okay, and with that, we have finished learning how to draft a basic bodice for both the back and the front piece. Okay, so for tutorial purposes, I'm going to use this pattern to make an outfit. Okay, so stay tuned. So I hope you found this tutorial helpful. Please like, comment, and subscribe. And if you're a subscriber, thank you, and I do hope to see you in my next video. Until next time, bye bye.